Hi everyone, my name is Dima and here we are building the car maintenance tracker application, and this is the day 2. Let me remind you what we did previous time. It was on Friday. So we created a Maven project. We added the Docker Compose file that contains our Postgres database. We added Maven plugin, OpenAPI generator Maven plugin, to generate our controller layer, all the DTOs from the Swagger file, from the OpenAPI specification. We defined here the first endpoint. This is the create user. Actually, this is the registration endpoint. We uploaded this project to the GitHub, and generally we are ready to start implementing the first endpoint in our list. And later I think we will define the couple of the endpoints that we are going to implement in the nearest future. I connected the, let me increase the font a little bit. I added the codecs here. This is the coding agent from the ChatGPT, so you can call it. Let me quit it. Connect. What? No. Yeah, here it is. So it was a little bit tricky. So I had to install VSL and Ubuntu. So this is something like Ubuntu on your Windows machine, and here you can install the codecs. There is no native support for the codecs yet for the Windows, so that is why it's a little bit tricky. So we need to go to our project, IDEA projects, car maintenance tracker, and we need to call the codecs here. So I initialized the project called init, and it actually created two files. The first, the agent. I think this is the instructions for the agent, maybe some history. We will see how it will be changed in the future. And it created a little readme about the project, how to build it. Looks very similar, to be honest. So today I'm going to create the branch for our development. So there is a user registration API, and we will develop everything in the branch. So let me add those files, init codecs, and add readme file. So come on, IntelliJ. So it's committed, and let's implement the first endpoint in our list. This is the create user. But first of all, I wanted to explain a little bit about the Spring Modulit. For the Spring Modulit, this package is the root package, because the Spring Boot application class is inside of this package. So, and the users is the module. So if you create another module, for example, car, so and if you will add the, for example, car service here, so as you can see, the module is marked with a little green icon here as well, but the API inside of the users has a red icon, something like a lock. So, and let me show you, for example, if I will try to inject, just as an example, user controller here. So I would mark it as a service, required Arc constructor. Oh, sorry, someone tries to call me. Damn it. I totally forgot to disable my Telegram. Sorry for that. Okay, let's try to inject, for example, the user controller here. As you can see, it cannot be compiled. So there is written that the module car depends on non-exposed type user controller from module users. So this controller is not visible on this level. So, and if we want to inject something from the user module, we need to create, for example, a user service. So it's on the top level of the module. So this is the user service, and we can define it with a user as well. So add some required arc constructor. So we want to create a user, for example, the user DTO, No, DTO looks a little bit better. So here is can be record, right? Let's try to use record, and we'll see if it works well for us. So this is the ID, this is the email, and that's it. So we should not expose anything else. In the controller, we can inject our service. So for example, the user service, maybe let's name it user service. So as you can see, there is no problems. I can insert the user service in the user controller because the user service in the same module as the user controller. So, and I can call the create. I can create user registration request DTO, and it should return us the user DTO back. Created user. So just return nothing at this moment. But what I wanted to show you, I want to inject the user service inside of the car service, and it is fine, right? There is no compilation errors or anything else. It's because the user service is defined on the top level of the user's module, and all classes defined on the top level. This is the open API of this module. So other modules can see those classes on the top level of the user's module, and the same for the cars. But all the packages defined in the user module are hidden for other modules. For example, I don't want to expose the repository layer, so I want to restrict other services should not use repository directly, should not call users repository directly, and that is the benefits of the Spring module. It helps us to hide implementation of each module and restricts the developer to use those classes in other modules. So I never used the Spring module before, and I don't know which problems we can face to, but I'm learning here as you do. So as you do, and we will see if it will work for us in the future. Okay, let's remove the car. We will implement this layer a little bit later and concentrate on the registration. So actually what we need is we need to compare the passwords. Let me take a look what's here. So there is a password and password repeat. We need to compare it. There is a email and it's already validated, so it's not null, and the email actually. So we need to write a little comparison and throw the exception if something is wrong, right? If passwords doesn't match, we need to throw the exception. So we can write some validation, and we can add our own annotation, for example, valid passwords. Valid passwords, or maybe valid registration. I don't know. Let me think about it a little bit. So one more option is to add the method with the assert true annotation, but we cannot change this class here. So it's generated by the OpenAPI Maven plugin. So the only way to add some validation here is to add our own annotation, or we can do the validation on the service layer. If to be honest, I prefer doing the validation on the controller layer. And let's try to implement some annotation. So the equal passwords. This is the annotation. Validated. Let me Google Spring validation annotations. Yeah, here we go. So we have all the necessary modules, I think. Here it is. REST controller. We don't need it yet. Come on. What? I want to create the custom annotation. Create custom validation annotation. Okay. Here we go. Controller. Some test. Oh, this is the new annotation. So we will copy a little bit. So this is we need to define it as a constraint. This is the validator that we will add soon. So we want to say that this annotation should be applied on the class level, I think. It's type. We will see. Retention runtime. It should work in runtime as well. Yeah, there is some methods that we need to implement as well. So it's a standard, more or less standard set of the methods. So this is the default message. Passwords are not valid. Group, payload. So this is the standard methods. We just need to define it here, and we should not take care about it right now. And I want to create our own validator. Let's name it equal passwords validator. Yeah, let's define the class. It implements the constraint validator. So, and we need to define it as a component, and we just need to implement the isValid method. So here is the annotation as a first argument, equal passwords, and the second one should be the method that implements maybe some interface, or we can use it directly on our DTO. For simplicity, I would use the DTO right now, but if in the future we would need to validate the same on other object, we would need to create an interface, for example, password provider or something like that, and make this DTO implement this interface, and then we can apply this validator in more or less generic way. So here what we need to do is, so if the, let me rename it to just request DTO for simplicity. Request DTO. Come on, request DTO. If it is null, we should not care, so we should return true. So if someone wants to validate if this object is not null, he needs to add the not null annotation. So here, for our use case, it's totally fine. Then we need to check if request get password equals null. Maybe if both passwords are null, it's valid for us actually. So if someone wants to have passwords not null, he needs to define not null annotation as well. So return true. It's fine. And here we need to check. For example, let me think about it. So we need to compare those passwords, but one of them can be null. We can write something like that. So if this is not null, if this is not null, or this password, the repeat one, if those passwords are not equals. So if request object is null, then return true. If both password and repeat are null, so we need to return true as well. If one of them is null, that means that another one is not null and those passwords are not equal, so we need to is null. No. Should be like this. So if the password is not null, if it is null, then we will return false. It's correct. That means that another one is not null and passwords are not equal. And here we are comparing the passwords, and yeah, looks good. Let me remember how to add this annotation to the request object. Let's Google a little bit. OpenAPI Maven plugin, generator plugin. Doesn't matter, I think. Custom annotation. Add custom annotation. No. As I remember, it should be X class extra annotation. Yeah, we want to add this on the class level, so it should be something like this. But we need to define the full path to our annotation. That means we need to copy the full package name and the name of the annotation. So I added it on the, let me show you. This is the user registration request, and I added the annotation here. So, and I need to regenerate the classes. Let's take a look if it works. Okay, yeah, as you can see, our annotation is added. So, and we will check soon if it is working actually. So, do we have some other validation here. So all the fields are required here. This is min length. Looks good on the first glance. Okay, so we validated the input. It's totally fine. The next step, we need to create the password hash. We cannot store the password as it is, right? That is why we need to include the Spring security starter, I think, because it contains the password hasher tool. Let me find it. Module starter core. Interesting. What else do we have in the Spring modulet? Not much. Okay, so we need Spring security. No, Spring Boot starter security. That is what we need. Okay. And there is a user service, and we need to inject here a password. Let me remember. Password encoder, right? Password encoder. That is what we need. So we need to define maybe the entity class, entity inside of the repository. So this would be user entity. It's the representation of the user object in the database. So actually we have only 3 columns here. Let me remember. Yeah, this is the table name. We need to say that it's users. We need to say this is the ID. Not now. Come on. Not now, and email. Not sure if the Spring data JDBC would validate those fields like Hibernate is doing, but we will check. So the password is not null as well. So that is what we wanted to have here. Add the data from the lombok to avoid writing some getters and setters. Looks good on the first glance. Let's add the repository layer. This would be user repository interface. Page and sort. Yeah, there is page and sorting repository here. The first parameter is the user entity, and the second one is the type of the ID. And let's mark it as a repository stereotype. Okay. We need to inject this repository into the user service as well. User repository. As you can see, there is no bin of the password encoder, and we need to define it. One moment, my wife is writing me something. Doesn't matter. Okay, we need to create the configuration. So we need to create some security config. This is the configuration class, and we want to define the bin public password encoder. Password encoder. What the implementation exists? I think what we need is the bcrypt password encoder. New bcrypt password encoder. Yeah, looks good. And now, as you can see, there is no complaints from the IntelliJ side. Close it. And what else do we need is we need to convert the request DTO into the entity class, because we want to save it. That is why I added mapstruct. So I want to add the mapper, and we can add the user mapper class, mapper interface. So this is the mapper. We need to say that it's Spring related. So it will be generated as the Spring bin. And I want to inject it in the service layer as well. User mapper. Okay. Okay. So the first step is we need to get the user entity. Let's rename it just mapper to user entity, and we need to add the request DTO, user registration DTO. This is the request. Okay. So mapstruct will generate the converter for us, and it will take the email and password and map it to the email and password here. But we want to insert the hashed password here, right? Maybe it makes sense to create the abstract class instead of the interface, and here we can override the method that add the passwords, and maybe the password encoder should be here. We cannot insert it like this. We need to insert it through the setter method afterwired. Yeah, like this. And this should be the public abstract class. And we need to say that the mapping, there is the source is the password column, password field. Target is the password as well, but we need to use a method qualified by name, no, conditional, what? Qualified by name. As I remember this one, to hashed password. We need to define the method with this name. This is the named annotation. Public string hashed password. This is the source password, and we need to call the password encoder and say the encode please the source password, and yeah, looks good. So we got the entity. We need to store it. So the user repository save, no, there is nothing like that. Oh, it's interesting. Is there something like a root repository? Ah, yeah, here it is, and we can delete. And where is the save? Ah, save, here it is. Okay, let's use save entity. This is the saved entity. Maybe we can do it like this. No, we can do it even a little bit better. Like this. It's in the single line. Looks good. And yeah, so we saved it into the database, and we need to return back the user DTO. Why do we? There is an option to return the user entity back, but I don't want to return it. Each layer should have its own DTOs, and the user entity is the DTO for the repository layer. For the service layer, we have the user DTO, and it's another one. So sometimes you need to return something else. For example, you do not want to expose absolutely the same fields like you have in the database to the outside of the service. So that is why we use the DTO here. And Mapstruct could help us to create it as well. To user DTO, and we have the entity here. Let's create the method. It should be public abstract. Yeah, like this. Looks good. Let's generate and take a look what we got here. So I can show you what is generated in the Mapstruct. Aha, there is nothing, really? Maybe I forgot to add something. Generated sources. This is the OpenAPI. Users controller. And there is nothing from the Mapstruct, I think. Mapstruct. Maybe I need to add some plugin. I have my old project here, and I think my Mapstruct is configured. Here I will take a look quickly. Main. Come on, it should be in POM.xml, I think. Mapstruct. So there is two dependencies. Nothing else? Mapstruct processor. I think I didn't include it. Mapstruct processor. Okay. One more try. What? There is nothing. This is the Mapstruct. I think I forgot something. What is the processor? This is the processors. And I think we need to include the Mapstruct processor here. As far as I remember. I can't be wrong. Mapstruct. This one should be in the processors section here, shouldn't it? Mapper. Much better. So as you can see, to user entity method generated, just set the password and the email, but uses the hash password method that we defined here, and another conversion is here as well. So we expose just ID and email. We should not expose the password of the user, even if it is encrypted. So it looks good. Yeah, and it should be transactional, right? So we are using the relational database, and everything should be executed in the transactions. We want to have our data consistent. So looks good. And I would propose you to create a little integration test. Not so fast. We need to, maybe I would move the mapper. Okay. We need one more mapper here for the repository layer mapper. I don't want to reuse the same. It's related to the controller only, and let's name it user controller, or maybe user API mapper. So this is the mapper component Spring. Okay, and I want to inject it here as well. Mapper. So we created the user, and what we want to is to create to user response DTO. Created user. Oh. Okay, looks good. And I want to create some integration test. We need to be sure that it's working. Integration test. So we need to say that this is the Spring Boot test. We need to after configure data JDBC maybe. No, I don't. The test. So yeah, looks good. Typical JDBC test, no test. Okay. Data JDBC test. I hope it's okay. So it configures the database. So what I want to do is I want to afterwire the mock MVC. It's the simplest one. Why could not afterwire? We will see. Maybe I'm missing some module. With the Spring test container starter test. Here it is. Maybe we need some starter for the web test or something like that. Let's take a look. Spring Boot starter web. No, there is nothing like that. It should be available there, I think. We will check it. So the test should register new user. So, and what we want to do is we want to perform the post request. There is a user controller API pass create. This is the pass. It throws some exception here. So we want to say that we need to add some content here, right? It should be the JSON. We need to add the email, I think. That's like testexample.com. And we need to add the password. Some password 123. And the password repeat. We will test the success pass and take a look what happens the next. Yeah, no, and expect status. We want to expect the status created is created, and we want to get back and return. Yeah, let's return the body as a string. Can I return it as something else? Content as array, byte array. I think we need to get it as a string. Okay, content as a string. So this is the response actually. And I just want to compare it to something else. Assert that. Do we have the assert? Yeah, that is what I like. Assert J. So here we want to say that this is the actual value response we got, and it should be J. There is a library. Assert JSON Java. This one, as far as I remember, wire mock. Let me remember. Let's take a look here. JSON. JSON unit. What? That is what I like. Okay. JSON unit. We need to add it here. JSON unit Spring. Oh, interesting. Where is the test part? Yeah, here it is. And I think we can write something like that. Assert JSON, no? Assert that response. Let me remember what I tested here. There is something like users as well. Yeah, that's right. And expect JSON is equal to something. Much better. We don't need all of this stuff. And expect JSON. Now just JSON. Where is it? No, JSON. This one, I think, is equal to. So we expect the ID, right? But the ID could be anything. So it can be JSON unit any number, I think, any number. So it's long, so it could be any number that we want. But the email should be the email we provided here. Okay. No. Come on, JSON. This is the import that we need. JSON. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, sure. I don't like it. Let's format it a little bit better. And this is the request. Our request body. And this is the expected response. No. Expected response. Okay, let's take a look. I will set the breakpoint here, and we will see if we will get the request. Maybe I need to set the breakpoint in the validator as well. What happened here? I don't know really. Spring. Let's regenerate it fast and start the test. Let's go. Okay. No such bean. I forgot some dependency. I think. Run this. I forgot to add run this. Do I really need it? Here is the Spring extension. That is what I have to add, I think. We need to say that we have the web environment here. No? I forgot something. Spring extensions here. Let me take a look. What is written here? OpenVC test, no. We use the Spring Boot test. After configure mock MVC. But I think it should be after configured already, no? It's interesting. Do I have something like that here in my old project? I defined the custom annotation for the tests, but on the annotation level, is there something like this? Common annotation integration test. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Now the mock MVC is defined, everything should be fine. But only on the first glance. We need to configure the security part, because we've got 403 response back. I think I need to copy something from here. I'm not sure where is it. This is the web configuration. I don't need it. Our DTing. The security part should be here, I think. Our auth configuration, security config. This is the security filter chain. Yeah, that is what we need. We need to say that our endpoint should not be hidden for the security. Okay, let's add this bin here. Let's add it here, abstract configure. Let's remove it. Oh, I can remove the public. Okay, we don't have the authentication yet, so we can skip it right now. Our application will be stateless. This is the exception handler. Okay. Why do we have such formatting? I need to configure it sometime. One moment. Let's keep it like this. So what I want to open is slash users endpoint. I want to open the Swagger UI. Swagger, yes, that's what I want to keep opened. This is the Swagger related endpoint as well. Yeah, damn it. Okay, and probably we need to add some enable web security. I think it's enabled already. Method security we don't need right now. We will add it a little bit later, but let's take a look. No. Oh, it's something interesting. What is this? HTTP. Yes, we need to say that it's application JSON when we are making the request. So there is a content, and we need to say that the content type is the application JSON. Application JSON. Let's try once again. Yeah, it takes time to configure everything first time, but later we will use codecs and we define some code style, and it will help us to generate new endpoints much more faster. 400. This is the bad request. That means something is wrong. But what is wrong? There is no message, but we don't have the error handling yet. So, JSON, something with our JSON. Yeah, here we need to open and close it. And here we opened. Okay, I forgot one quotes here. The JSON was not valid. We will add error handling maybe today, not sure. We need to add it today. 400 once again. Passwords doesn't match. Passwords are not valid. Maybe I need to replace the message. Passwords do not match. Maybe. Okay, let's add the breakpoint here and take a look. But the good news is our validator is working, so we should get here. Yeah, here we go. Some password. Okay, not here. This is not null. Let's execute. False? What? It says that passwords doesn't match. Do you see the difference? I don't. Okay, let's try once again. I will copy this one here. As you can see, we wrote the test and found some bug maybe. Let's execute this part. Evaluate expression. False. Yeah, we need to say that it's valid. Our validation was not correct. So the valid is only when the password is not null and this password equals to the password repeat. So our implementation originally contained the bug, and we found this bug in our test. That is really good news. So let's take a look. Yeah, finally, it's really good. We found the problem. Okay, and let's write some test where we can see that passwords that do not match. For example, should not register user because passwords are not equal. Yeah, let's do it like this. Expected response, we will avoid it right now a little bit. We expect to get the bad request. This is the exception here. Another password. So we should get a bad request. Yeah, it's really good. One more thing I wanted to add here is maybe error handling, or maybe we will add it next time. This time I think we are ready to add GitHub Actions. By the way, I wanted to rename it to the users API. So if we have separate modules here, I think we need to have a separate API's definitions here, separate contracts. Okay, what else? Let's ask ChatGPT to review our code. It's interesting. Review uncommitted changes. Yes, let's review it. What ChatGPT will say to us. Running, analyzing. Takes time to analyze everything, right? But it's still executing something and will say to us that something is wrong maybe. Is there some issues? You know, it's like having some code reviewer. Never used the AI tools to review my code before, so could be interesting to get some feedback. It can see even the after-generated classes. You see the after-generated by OpenAPI generator here. I think we will add Jococo plugin to analyze the test coverage in the future, and I will add GitHub Actions that we will run the integration tests for us on the GitHub and analyze if the coverage. We can add some security analysis to find security problems in our project as well, and we will get the code review from the ChatGPT, so I hope it works somehow, more or less. Let's take a look. I think the next time we will add GitHub Actions, we write more tests. I want to extract these parts maybe to the separate files, JSON files, where you can see the syntax. You will get the power of the IntelliJ. So we could edit it there as a real JSON files, and here in the as a string, it's not very convenient way to edit it and review. It's quite small right now, but if you get quite big JSON, it's hard to read, and tests become very big. Okay, what is the final review comment? Update OpenAPI input. Yeah, it's good. Good finding, really. Okay, let's. I will change it here. API YAML. Yeah, we need to rename it to the users, and that's it. It looks really good. So we did a good job. We added our first endpoint, first integration tests, and we are ready to speed up next time. So on Wednesday we will write a couple more endpoints for the user API. We will write, I think, login endpoint. We will add more security settings, maybe something else. So we need to finish the user API, and then we will think about how to add the cars, how to add the maintenance related stuff, maybe the car parts. I don't know yet, so I need to think before I write some code here. So I will commit it at the user registration endpoint implementation. Yeah, and I think next time I will show you how to create a pull request. We will merge it together on the GitHub and so on. But the hour is almost over. My wife is calling me right now, so it's time to answer to her. Subscribe to my channel if you want to follow the process of the development. I'm an experienced developer. I have almost 15 years of experience here. Almost 15 years of experience, could you imagine? And I also created the Discord chat. You can ask me some questions there. My first stream watched 5 people. I think this stream will watch maybe 7 people. Yeah. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.